everybody. It's the weekly live show number 10. I can't believe I've done 10 of these over 10 weeks. Never give in, never give up, and never quit. So tonight's, hi Kayan, hi Kylie. Tonight's topic, or this afternoon's topic, wherever you may be, could even be this morning's topic if you're in another country. Hi Jason, hi Helen. Is people pleasing hides you. Now, if you are constantly people pleasing and looking at what everyone else's needs are, never getting to anywhere where their needs actually are you actually ever getting to choose for you? Are you actually ever aware of what's true for you? Are you actually ever aware of what you would like to create in the world? So if you're always doing for others, guess what? You are already hiding you. Now, interestingly enough, something that I looked at today is that people pleasing is an inability to receive. I can do a massive mic drop on that one. People pleasing is an inability to receive. So if you're doing people pleasing all the time, you're actually not receiving anything around you, including you. So you're not receiving from the universe. You're not receiving from the earth. You're not receiving from what nature could give to you. And you're not actually receiving the contribution that other people can be. So what if you're missing out on all of these things that could be a massive contribution to your life and your living and could expand your world dynamically? Because all your energy is going in output. So you're throwing out. So if you're the type of person that is a people pleaser, are you actually drained? Do you feel tired all the time? Do you feel like you can never keep up and that it's never enough? And are you putting what your requirements are, what contribution you could be to the world in second place, or even not even considering what it is that you would like to have and be in the world? Hi, come on. Hi, Veronica. Who else have we got on? Farah. Hi, Farah. Hi, Talia. Atali, sorry. So do you people please out of obligation? So obligation's a massive one. So what are you obligated to? So a great question to ask here is ask yourself, who, what have you decided you are obligated to? Is it your family? Is it your friends? Is it your parents? Is it your children? I mean, children's a big one. We always say, I can't do that because my children's needs come first. And then you find yourself being unhappy and miserable because you're always putting other people's needs first. And then we make all these reasons and justifications like, well, they're too young, they need me. And it's like, well, how much of that is stopping them from showing up and growing and being more in the world too? So I know with my kids, I'm putting more and more responsibility on them as they get older. So they now make their own breakfast. They now make their own lunches. They now have chores around the house. So things like putting the bins out, which alleviates a huge amount of pressure on me. So I'm able to contribute more to my business and therefore gift more to them down the track. And that could be in a way of a holiday or an outing or taking them out somewhere special, because I'm able to put more of that energy into my business or other things that are going to make me happy and more fulfilled, rather than doing these little, mundane extra tasks. I don't have to take on all that extra pressure. So look at where you're trying to please everyone and trying to do way too much because you've decided that no one can do it as good as you. It's not going to get done the way that you would like, which is another reason and justification as to why you are creating this in your world. Come on says, no, because you build up resentment about getting approval back and then blow up them ruining your good person reputation. Yeah. And I know it's like there's this thing where if you start to change and start to be something different in the world, it can ruffle some feathers. I've got to be honest with you. I know that when I started to change and started to do more for me when I was married, I desired to have more for me rather than giving. I had nothing left to give. I was giving to my children all the time. I was giving to the household. I was giving to my husband all the time, and it was never, ever enough. And I know when I started to choose for me, it did ruffle some feathers. I was told I was selfish. Should be staying at home. I should be being a mum. I should be being the proper housewife and all these things. And it's like, I didn't let that stop me. Did it upset me a little? Yeah, it did at the time. And I was like, no, if I want to create more for my children, if I want to be a happier mother and a happier wife, then this is what is required for me to create and be more in the world. So eventually, it all just sorted itself out. People got used to the new me. So yes, it ruffled feathers in the beginning, and yes, it did create some disruption, and eventually all of that died down. Anytime you make a change with anything in your life, not everyone's going to like it, but let's be honest, if you're not being you, if you're hiding behind being a people pleaser, people don't like you anyway, so you may as well do what you want to do, right? Because, that's just how it is. So ask yourself, who or what have you decided you are obligated to? And you could also use this question: who or what have you decided you are obligated to, that if you gave up the obligation, you could have all of you? You also want to give yourself permission to say no. So how many times have we gone and done things that we haven't wanted to do because we haven't wanted to upset the other person in some way? We felt obligated in some way, or whatever our reason and justification is. This actually just happened to me a couple of weeks ago. Now, I was invited to a barbecue function on a Saturday with my partner. It was with my partner's friends. Obviously, I know his friends as well because we've been together for a few years now. And on the Friday evening, I was like, I really don't want to go. And it wasn't like I didn't want to go, because sometimes I don't want to go to things. It's more my being saying that, and I get there and I have a really great time and I'm really happy I'm there. But in this case, it was my body saying, no, no way, don't go. And I didn't listen because I felt like, I was getting FOMO. I thought, well, I'm fear of missing out. What if I have a really good time and now I feel bad for my partner because I should be supporting him and his friends and all these reasons and justifications. So I went along. My body was super tired and I was actually quite cranky in the morning. And I got there and yes, I had a great time. I had a couple of drinks. I got home and in the middle of the night, I felt really, really unwell. Now, did my body know something? Did I pick up something at that function? What did my body know that I was denying and not willing to receive fully that information? If I had trusted me and trusted myself in that moment and just said, no, I'm receiving information here. I'm going to choose for me in this particular moment because my body was really screaming at me, then I would not have woken up unwell in the middle of the night. It was obviously something was going on for me. So these are all the ways that we basically create blocks in our lives and create a circumstance where and that wasn't a huge issue. I did feel unwell. It wasn't a huge issue. I didn't die. I didn't have the coronavirus, but I negated what my body was asking me. So you don't want to do that. You want to listen to your yeses and your nos. Interestingly, my daughter is really great at this. The other day, on Saturdays, she has her dancing and then she's got a little break and I've given her permission to have some money and go down the street and grab some lunch. Anyway, on this particular day, she went to a cafe and all of her friends went to get sushi and she sat in the cafe by herself and ate a toasted ham and cheese and tomato sandwich. And when I said to her, hey, what did you do for lunch? Did you go with the other girls? what did you do? And she said, oh, I sat in the cafe and I had a ham, cheese, and tomato sandwich. And I said, oh, where were the other girls? And she said, oh, they didn't come. They went and had sushi. And I said, oh, how come you didn't go with them? And she goes, because I didn't want sushi and I was choosing for me. And I'm like, wow, that is so cool. Like, she's 11, right? So how many children, and how much do we do the same thing, is follow the crowd, follow what everyone else is doing because we want to fit in. So how much of our people pleasing is because we want to fit in so badly into this world. So we'll give up what is really true for us. So in this circumstance, she really wanted a ham, cheese, and tomato sandwich. So she wasn't going to give up what she wanted to eat for lunch based on where everyone else was going and what they were choosing for lunch and what they were choosing for their bodies. So all of those girls, all of them, went and had sushi. So how many of those girls were actually really choosing for their body? How many of those girls were actually choosing because their friends were choosing? How many people are actually really willing to listen to what is required for them? And funnily, last Saturday, again, I went to the cafe that she was going to go to. Again, I said, I'll meet you there. And again, all her friends went and had sushi, and she came to that cafe and she had eggs on toast with me. So I said, how come you're not going with your friends? She goes, no, I'm choosing for me, Mummy. I'm not going to do what they're doing. I'm like, cool. And it's not like she's not popular. She's not popular because she's choosing that. So please, like, anywhere where you think you're not going to be popular and you're not going to fit in just because you're choosing something different, it doesn't work like that, right? And people will eventually go, oh, if she's choosing for her, then I get to choose for me. So you can be an invitation for something totally different in the world. And how cool is that? So what's your hidden agenda with people pleasing? Does it make you feel valued? Does it make you feel needed? Do you feel accepted? Or does it make you feel included? Or do you desire to feel included? Or is it something else? So look at if you're a people pleaser, look at where your hidden agenda is and where you're trying to be one of or any of those things. So if you had no hidden agendas with people pleasing, could you actually choose what works for you? And then ultimately that works for everybody else. So what have you bought? Where have you bought the lie that it would not contribute to others if you actually pleased yourself? If you are happy, ultimately everyone else will be happy too. Now, I just wanted to leave on one note. I wanted to do a quote from something that I actually saw today. It said, if you live for people's acceptance, you will die from their rejection. So if you live for people's acceptance, you will die from their rejection. So people reject for all sorts of reasons. You don't stand up to their standards. And I so love this quote because you can never please people. How do we ever gauge what is going to make them happy? How many times have we been rejected hoping that we will fit in, and all the while being rejected as we can never fit someone else's standards? So how much are you hiding you through your people pleasing? And is it time to create something totally different in the world? I invite you to that possibility. I hope you have an amazing Thursday night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. And thank you for listening. And I look forward to chatting again next week. Bye for now.